Of September the 18th, 2024 to order. Would the clerk please read the roll?
Mr. Amrine?
Here.
Ms. Selko? Here. Mr. Clapper?
Here.
Mr. De Leon?
Here.
Mr. Hook?
Here.
Ms. Schaefer-Bish? Here. Mr. Sidoti?
Here.
Mr. Turner?
Need a motion to excuse Miss Gwen.
So moved.
Second. Second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Okay, opening remarks, Mr. Sidoti.
Yeah, I think we all have to say that the end of the summer is coming, it's coming rapidly, except this weather has been very delightful. And walking downtown the other day, it was just great to see. There was just this vibe in the air. It was real positive and upbeat, and I think that speaks volumes of what our community is all about. And hopefully everyone's getting to enjoy this weather a little bit more and enjoying our town. So let's stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have anybody sign in comments?
No one signed in.
Sir, were you going to speak to council under communications?
Repeat the question.
Were you gonna address us tonight? Ask,
Yeah, I was.
oh, well,
You want to give your name and address?
need
Well,
to
no,
sign-
come on to the podium and
Yeah, just come
give
on
your
up.
name and address.
Since you're the only audience.
Yeah, you're the only one here
Thank
tonight.
you.
I got to read something before you start. While the law does not require council to provide time for the public to comment on having historically invited the public to make comment, and we appreciate their input, this is a time when residents, others can comment on matters that concern them. However, if it will not, I will not let you engage in any debate, or as President of Council, I will reserve the right to end your public comments if they are disruptive, embarrassing, harassing, or otherwise objectionable. We ask that you come to the podium, give your name and address for the clerk.
Okay, name is Aaron.
We'll give you 3 minutes, okay.
Live at 537 Cherry Street. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just had a brief concern. Every Saturday, or most of the time, I walk my dog downtown Kent through the areas, and a lot of times I'll start down at Tannery Park, walk my way up to the river, circle around, and I've noticed lately there's been quite a bit of homeless activity going on. I feel really bad for these people. They need help. It's terrible. And I was just asking, is there something we could do to help them, or because I have pictures on my phone showing that they live in the woods and they're just leaving trash everywhere. My wife and daughter, they no longer want to walk down there because they don't feel it's very safe anymore, because they've been approached a couple of times. I've seen managers of the restaurants starting to chase them out down the street. I guess I'm just asking if you guys can just monitor it. I understand there's a railroad property issue, but it's still the health and safety thing, and I think they should be, a part of it also.
We have been involved a little bit. Dave, you want to kind of?
Yeah, it's a routine, and
Oh.
Bridget can too. I mean,
Excuse me,
there's
Bridget?
a number of, from the police department, the health department, and even Bridget, because of her connections too, is frequently involved in trying to not only move them along, but assist them. And unfortunately, and there are services available in the community, and actually a lot of like the food pantry knows them by name, because they'll have lunch down there and so forth. It is private property, like you said, the railroad property. So anytime we want to try to coordinate something to help move them along, or it has to be done, sort of with the permission and at the railroad. Do you want to add?
Yeah, the railroad, by the way, works in collaboration with us. We just did a major cleanup of the exact areas you were talking about. Even we had the health department and volunteers going up that slope that's behind North Water, cleared out everything. I have pictures of it. It was spotless, and they come back. So there's a core group of what we call chronic homeless that basically traverse between Ravenna and here. They have been offered numerous services, but they typically have co-occurring substance abuse and mental health issues. So we do move them along and we do clean up, but unfortunately, it is just a continuous thing. But I will send an email tomorrow to the same group I work with on trying to get that addressed.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a never-ending challenge.
Thank you.
Just wanna bring it up.
Okay,
Thanks.
thanks for
Thank
the
you.
comment. I guess we're down to written communications.
Portage County Solid Waste Management District Policy Committee meeting minutes from July 16th, 2024 were received and forwarded to council on August 22nd. An email from Christine Klein resigning from the Civil Service Commission was received August 25th. An email from Garrett Ferreira was received August 27th, sharing event information with council about the Jewish festival at KSU called Let Here Be Light Tour, being held Thursday, September 5th from 5 to 7 p.m. A letter from First Energy regarding their application with the Public Utilities Commission of Ohio to adjust base distribution rates was received and forwarded to council on August 27th. An email from Daniel Fewer, Kent State University student, was received on August 29th asking to collaborate with the City of Kent on a parking system he's proposing to create. The Standing Rock Cemetery Board of Trustees agenda for September 19th was received and posted on August 28th. A letter on August 26th was received from the Portage County Board of Elections regarding galley proofs of ballots for the general election on November 5th being available to be viewed at the Board of Elections office. There's a little mistake there. Sustainability Commission agenda for September 9th and the August 5th meeting minutes were received and uploaded on September the 3rd. An email from Joan Seidel, Health Commissioner, announcing a pop-up food pantry being held on September 25th from 11 to 1 p.m. at 201 East Erie Street at the Nurses Clinic was received September 5th, 2024. And then the communication received after the agenda was published, the Board of Health meeting agenda for September 10th was received on September 9th. The Board of Zoning Appeals agenda for September 16th was received on September 9th. The Planning Commission agenda and staff report for September 17th was received on September 10th. The Parks and Rec Board meeting agenda for September 19th was received on September 13th. The Civil Service Commission agenda for September 16th was received on September 13th. And then an email from Matthew Hathaway was received on September 16th, 2024, notifying the Kent Civil Service Coordinator of his resignation from the Civil Service Commission. And then I received 2 Civil Service Commission applications from various residents on September 16th.
We need a motion to,
Yes.
for Hathaway.
Yes.
I need a motion to accept the resignation
Oh,
of Matt
second.
Hathaway.
Or I'll move that.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Chris. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, moving on to City Manager's report, Jack.
Yes, I'd like to move items 1 through 13 on the city manager's report.
Second.
Second by, any discussion on it? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Mr. Rower, you got,
No, thank you, Mayor.
okay, thank you. Now we're gonna get into our consent agenda, so bear with me. First of all, I need a motion to,
For the minutes and the actions?
yeah,
I'll move that.
of August 21st.
I'll move that.
You moved it, is there a
Yes.
second?
Second.
Second by Jeff, I thank you. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same, thank you. So now we're down to the drafts. If there's no objection, we'll do the drafts in a package, well, a deal from 4.3 to 4.11. Do I have a motion for suspension?
So moved.
Second.
Did I say something wrong here?
Nope, go ahead.
All right, slap my hand. Who seconded it?
Me.
Chris, please call the roll for suspension.
Mr. Amrine?
Yes.
Ms. Selko?
Yes.
Mr. Clapper?
Yes.
Mr. De Leon?
Yes.
Mr. Hook?
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer-Bish?
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Move adoption.
Second.
Second by Roger. Is there any discussion on adopting these ordinances? Please call the roll for adoption.
Mr. Amrine?
Yes.
Ms. Selko?
Yes.
Mr. Clapper?
Yes.
Mr. De Leon?
Yes.
Mr. Hook?
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer-Bish?
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Yeah.
Pass.
Yes. the
Okay, getting into
packet. Sorry.
standing, pardon?
Yes.
All right, getting into standing committee. Committee of the whole, there was no action. Community development, Gwen's not here, so Jeff, you want to do this?
Yep, I just need a motion for the 2 actions.
Second.
Second by Mike. Is there any discussion on that? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, we do have a draft. Would the clerk read draft number 2024-097 in title only?
Draft 2024-097, an ordinance amending Chapter 501, General Provisions and Penalty, and Chapter 1367, Licensing Requirements of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Kent, and declaring an emergency.
Move suspension.
Second.
Second by Roger. Please call the roll on suspension.
Ms. Elko?
Yes.
Mr. Clapper?
Yes.
Mr. DeLeon?
Yes.
Mr. Hook?
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer-Bish?
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Move adoption.
Second.
Second by Mike. Any discussion on adopting this ordinance? Seeing none, please call the roll for adoption.
Ms. Elko?
Yes.
Mr. Clapper?
Yes.
Mr. DeLeon?
Yes.
Mr. Hook?
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer-Bish?
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
And Mr. Amrine?
Yes.
Okay, ordinance 2024-097 is passed.
Okay, thank you. Moving into Finance Committee, Mr. DeLeon.
I just have to move the recommended.
That's a motion. Is there a second to it?
Second.
Second by Jeff. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Would the clerk read draft number 2024-098 in title only?
Draft 2024-098, an ordinance authorizing the city manager or his designee to enter into an agreement with APCO International and Motorola Solutions, waiving competitive bidding, increasing the appropriations in the wireless 911 fund in the amount of $184,333.84 and declaring an emergency.
Move suspension. Second.
Second by Melissa. Please call the roll for suspension.
Mr. Clapper?
Yes.
Mr. DeLeon?
Yes.
Mr. Hook?
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer-Bish?
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Mr. Amrine?
Yes.
Ms. Elko?
Yes. Move adoption.
Second.
Second by Jeff. Is there any discussion on adopting this? Seeing none, please call the roll for adoption.
Ms. Elko?
Yes.
Mr. Clapper?
Yes.
Mr. DeLeon?
Yes.
Mr. Hook?
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer-Bish?
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
And Mr. Amrine?
Yes.
Ordinance 2024-098 passes.
Okay, moving into Health and Public Safety, there's no action because the recommendation was in the consent agenda. Moving on into utility, or street sidewalks and utility, Mr. Sidoti.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to move the 2 actions that were recommended.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, would the clerk read draft number 2024-99 in title only?
Draft 2024-099, an ordinance approving the school travel plan, STP, as created in conjunction with the Kent City School District and declaring an emergency.
Move suspension.
Second.
Second by Jeff. Please call the suspension. Roll call.
Mr. Clapper?
Yes.
Mr. DeLeon?
Yes.
Mr. Hook?
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer-Bish?
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Mr. Amrine?
Yes.
Ms. Elko?
Yes.
Move adoption.
Second.
Second by Mike. Is there any discussion on adopting this ordinance? Seeing none, please call the roll for adoption.
Mr. Clapper?
Yes.
Mr. DeLeon?
Yes.
Mr. Hook?
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer-Bish?
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Mr. Amrine?
Yes.
And Ms. Elko?
Yes.
Okay, ordinance 2024-099 has passed.
Okay, thank you. Would the clerk read draft number 2024-100 in title only?
Draft 2024-100, an ordinance authorizing the city manager or his designee to enter into a water planning agreement between the City of Kent and Portage County Water Resources, PCWR, to jointly study the ability to serve potable water to the south area of Kent and declaring an emergency.
Move suspension.
Second.
Second by Mike. Please call the roll on suspension.
Mr. Hook?
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer-Bish?
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Mr. Amrine?
Yes.
Ms. Elko?
Yes.
Mr. Clapper?
Yes.
Mr. DeLeon?
Yes.
Move adoption.
Second.
Second by Melissa. Is there any discussion on adopting this ordinance?
Yeah.
Heidi?
I just want to say that it's exciting to have this partnership with the county and, you know, with the potential of being able to extend our wonderful Kent water to another area outside of Kent, because in some ways we do have a surplus, so it's a good thing.
Okay, anybody else? Any discussion? Hearing none, please call the roll for adoption.
Mr. Hook?
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer-Bish?
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Mr. Amrine?
Yes.
Ms. Selko?
Yes.
Mr. Clapper?
Yes.
Mr. De Leon?
Yes.
Ordinance 2024-100 has passed.
Okay, that's it. We're down to unfinished business. Is there any? New business? Is there any new business? Come, Chris?
Yeah, I had a comment. I recall when I joined council back in January, there was a discussion at that time about warming centers in the city. And I remember the comment was made, it would be good to talk about this before it gets cold.
Good idea.
So, you know, drawing on the gentleman's comments around the homeless population, I am wondering about the city's capacity, and I guess this would be in the form of a motion, to ask the city to explore options for warming centers in Kent, in preparation for the cold months coming.
Second.
I was trying to see if that was already in our... Okay, I don't see it. Who seconded it, Mike?
Yeah.
Any more discussion?
No.
Mike, further discussion?
Better do it before it gets cold.
I agree. Anybody else have discussion?
Just questions. I have a question.
Discussion on the motion.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, so would we be putting this into a committee discussion so that we would know who the appropriate part of the city would be involved in developing these warming centers, or partnering with our local nonprofits or whatever? So, I mean, it's nice to have this idea of warming centers, but the implementation has a lot of details involved, including labor and security issues, and there's a lot involved. So, would we be putting this into a committee to talk about this further and bring the staff into a discussion?
I think that's what the motion intent is.
Yeah, exactly. I think I would like to hear from the city in terms of what are those options? What are those?
And who should be involved.
Exactly. And so what are those considerations to be aware of? And if it's not something that's feasible this year, that's something that would be good to know. It's not going to be for lack of...
Do you have your hand up?
Yeah, well, I was just going to say, I think it's pretty much to the administration to reach out to those people who already do it in a sense, and then partner with them to see what we can help them with. That's the way I'd...
Health board.
Yes, so that's the way I took it, yes.
Anybody else?
Robin.
Oh, Robin, I'm sorry. I didn't see
Yeah.
you. On the motion.
Yeah. The issue is at one point in time, we did have at least one warming center here. I think it was in up at Kent Social Services.
Mm.
Why that was moved out, I kind of wonder, because this is all about logistics.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not just a Kent issue.
Mm-hmm.
This also impacts the rest of the county. It probably should be that kind of discussion.
Excuse me, Ron, that's probably pertinent when we talk about it in committee, I think.
Absolutely.
All right. Any other discussion on the motion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Chris, I gotta give you a lot of credit, because generally we talk about shoveling snow sidewalks on January the 5th.
So true.
It's true.
Any other new business? council member comments. Melissa?
I just have a brief comment. As the election draws near and language becomes provocative, it's important to remember that what unites us is often greater than what divides us. Voting, an essential right protected in the Constitution, is one of those things we have in common. I want to quote directly from the Portage County Board of Elections. Voter intimidation should never be part of the election process, and voters are protected by Ohio law from such intimidation. If you believe that you are a victim of voter intimidation, it's suggested that you reach out to local law enforcement, the local prosecutor's office, the Ohio Secretary of State's Election Integrity Department, the Ohio Attorney General's office, and/or the Ohio's Election Protection Hotline. For details of that, you can go to the Portage County Board of Elections page. And just a reminder that the last day to register to vote is October 7th. Early voting begins the next day on October 8th at the Portage County Board of Elections in Ravenna, or you can vote by mail. Election day is Tuesday, November 5th. Every vote counts.
Where are you going with this one, motion?
Nothing.
Okay.
That was just my comment.
Robin, do you have something?
Yeah, based on what's occurred recently, I think that the council should probably put that verbiage in the form of a resolution indicating to the people who live in our community that we view this as a priority as a body, and that we want to educate people as to their rights to be able to freely express their viewpoints, support the candidates that they would like to support, and not be killed by people using language which in a lot of ways creates impediment to their ability to try and participate fully in the democracy that this country is based on. And so I would like to use the language that was brought up by Melissa to be put in the form of a resolution of support by this council, backing that and pushing that so that people know that this government here in the city of Kent is supportive of open democracy. And so that would be my motion.
Second.
Second. Further discussion, Robin?
No.
Heidi, further discussion?
I really appreciate what Melissa brought up, and I would like to give it a little bit, lift it up a little bit more. I think that she read, as a member of council, she read something that she believes in. I think that it would be a lot stronger to come out as a council in favor. I mean, it's hard to believe that here we are trying to fight, basically, voter intimidation. How sad. But we do need to lift up the people's rights to let their voices be heard, and the political speech is something that, you know, in the way of signage, is something that is protected by our Constitution. And recently we had to look up, you know, people, not in this community, thank God, but people's signs were disappearing. And we had to look up whether this was something that this was a criminal offense, and it is. So I think it would be, I think it might be incumbent upon us to make a statement that's a little bit stronger than just one council person's viewpoint. And I mean, yes, I share your viewpoint. It's very, very well stated. So I would be in favor of a resolution that we can look at our next council meeting and, together, consider approving.
Any more discussion? All in favor of the motion to put this Melissa's letter into a resolution, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Melissa, can you give?
I already did.
She did.
All right, we'll work it out.
Mm.
Any more comments?
Thank you, Robin.
Are we on number 8, Mr. Mayor?
Yes,
Okay, yeah, I have a comment.
it's council comments, Roger.
Okay, I
All
want
right.
to make sure.
Go ahead.
No, I thought maybe you were talking about the motion.
No.
No. First of all, I want to suggest that I agree with the warming thing and everything, but you know what? It appears that that'll be something to help those people, and I don't want to use that expression to be, I'm not being critical of those people. I'm saying that we create the warming thing. How do we attack the bigger issue? I don't know that we're capable of doing that as a council, but how do we, the more I look at this issue, I remember last spring when we were all over the radio, if you recall, and I walked the whole length, and it was interesting because where they said there were all these people, there weren't, but they were clear up at the other end, and then, then they moved down back there, you know what I mean? It's like I felt like the Dutch boy with the dam, and there were so many holes to plug, you couldn't keep track where they were. And so how do we help the homeless population in a way that is not merely putting a Band-Aid on it? A warming center is a Band-Aid. When we're handing out food over at the Trinity Church on Saturdays, it's like a Band-Aid. We're not, and I don't know that we have the answer to do it. All I'm suggesting is that it's a bigger issue than just warming. That's all I'm suggesting, and I wish there was a way we could kind of resolve that. My other comment would be, it's kind of interesting, and I mean this sincerely, if anyone feels intimidated going to the voting booth on November 5th, I'll go with them. I think that people need to stand up and say, wait a minute, we either stand together or we fall apart. And I've already told 2 citizens who happen to call me for whatever reason, a little older, and they're going, is it going to be safe going to the voting? If you don't feel safe, I'll go with you, and I'll stand behind that. I plan, if I go to every polling booth in this city, then I will do that on a day, because we cannot allow that in any kind of intimidating speech. If we do not stand up, if we are afraid, then it's all over. You can't be afraid. You got to go and you got to do whatever it is. And I really don't care if you're a Republican, a Democrat, black, white, green, a Jew, a Muslim, a caste. I really don't care. You have a right to feel safe going to vote. And I think we need to send that message out. Council, we can do the resolution, but I think each one of us should take some responsibility to make sure people hear it. And so I stand on what I said. I got 2 people already who said, Roger, we're going to take you up on that. I go, okay, I'll go with you.
Roger, you're absolutely correct. Today, I had 5 messages on my phone. If I don't fire the sheriff, they're going to fire me. Well, step in line. It's the voters that put all of us in office. If you don't like them, you recall them, or you don't vote for them when they run again.
Well, I think Mr. Amorine, as an American history teacher, will concur that one of the reasons that we broke away from England was for quartering of troops in private homes. And I just hate people who throw the Constitution up to me, and they don't understand that the reason we have a Constitution is because England was we're just walking into private homes saying, you're going to take 5 people and they're going to stay there. The redcoats are going to stay in your home. How in anyone's frickin' mind can you believe that the government is going to call Roger Sidoti up at 1257 Elno Avenue and say, hey, by the way, you're taking 3 people? That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. And yet they hide behind the Constitution on one hand, and then they turn around and try to ignore what the rights are. So I think we just got to, I could care less about the sheriff. I don't want anyone to feel ever afraid to go to a voting booth. Ever. And if I have to go with every one of them again, I'll go. Because that's the way it should be. We need individually to take a stand on protecting the right to vote, even if I disagree with who they're voting for. It doesn't matter.
Nazi Germany.
That's not what this is all about. And, you know, it's the type of stuff I used to teach in the 70s in government classes. And I'm shocked that I guess I was a terrible teacher. I see some of my fellow former students from the 70s, they put stuff, and I call them on it. You know, I go on Messenger and say, hey, you need to talk to me, because, come on. You know, you just can't deny anyone the right to vote if they are a citizen of the United States or they're a naturalized citizen. It does not matter. Does not matter. So anyway, that's my comment. And I'm done.
Robin?
Yeah, kind of follow two issues. First off, the issue of the warming center isn't just for homeless people. I don't know if you remember the last.
Oh yeah, you were.
Right.
And
there was no place to go except to Ravenna, between halfway. That's an issue which has health and safety written all over it for everybody. The homeless issue is something that we're going to be putting in a committee and perhaps identifying that. Luckily, like I said, we got Bridget. She's has a lot of connections. I think we probably have done this before. This is not going to be perfection.
Correct.
But it's going to show that it's on our radar, something that we ought to be able to do something about. The other is, while I agree that individuals can make a statement, together as a governmental entity, people need us at this particular time. This came from a government official, so it has an additional heft to it. And I think that in that regard, our pointing out, we get it. We understand that what's going on here has a certain chilling impact and effect on people here that we're calling the mayor, trying to figure out how this works, because they don't know every aspect of government, who's responsible for what. So they're reaching out to him because they know he's the head of government in this community. It's an educational process. The sheriff, apparently, they're giving a kind of pass in that he has a right of freedom of expression and freedom of speech. So do we. We have not just that, we have a responsibility to react to this. This is incredible. I mean, Jack was pointing out this is national news. I didn't even know that.
Oh yeah.
But it should be.
It's on CNN too.
See, wow. It's even.
NPR.
So this is happening here in Portage County. We should be reacting to that first and foremost as Kent, which is always a leader. Make no mistake about it. We're not just the biggest municipality, a political subdivision in the county. We're always the leader, standing up and speaking out and speaking truth to power, clarification as well. So that letter, I think, fits right into what we do here, speaking up for and educating our constituents and getting that fear factor off of them. So
on your thought, and after I shared my conversation with Dave today, we both agreed a lot of people just don't understand the system, period.
You're right.
So there's an education that's got to go along with it. Chris, did you have your hand up?
I do want to say that I think this is a unique situation in that you have a law enforcement officer making this statement. And I think that we can say you're going to be safe. We can say that to people, and we absolutely should, and Melissa's statement was amazing. There's still going to be fear because it is a law enforcement officer at the very top of this county making the statement. And I wonder about And I support Heidi, what she's saying, in sort of strengthening the language. Is there something we can say about what is the city of Kent's role in ensuring that this, at least its residents, remain safe and protected in that right? That provides an extra sense of assurance, given the source of that, statement. I don't know. I put that to everybody for general discussion.
Any other comments?
Yeah, I have a
Heidi?
question for Dave. So, it's a jurisdictional question. Does the sheriff have jurisdiction in Kent?
100%.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
we have a police force, but yet the sheriff's
Doesn't matter.
department can come in here and can they, okay, and they can arrest anybody or...
Same with the highway patrol.
I mean, yeah.
Just as the mayor said, just as the State Highway Patrol has jurisdiction across the entire state of Ohio, Sheriff's Department has jurisdiction across the entire county of Portage, City of Kent has jurisdiction over the entire city of Kent.
But, and we're an entity within Portage County, but I thought that because we were a city, that we would have some kind of...
Just as the City of Kent police officer can go
home rule.
into Kent State's campus and can can charge somebody for violating the ordinance of the City of Kent on Kent State's campus, despite the fact they have a Kent State Police Department, Sheriff's Office can do the same thing to us, State Highway Patrol can do the same thing to us.
So, okay, so I just want to say that in my mind, I was really truly thinking, okay, this sheriff is talking about people outside the city of Kent writing their names down or whatever, not necessarily the people in the city of Kent, but we should be supporting them. But this kind of gets me more angry if there is that power issue that Chris was referring to, that, you know, he really does have that ability to say, too bad, Kent, you know, what I say goes, I'm the sheriff in town, or whatever. Yeah.
It's why we work so hard to maintain a constructive relationship, because we both should be valuing public safety, and historically, we've had good partnership. Let's hope we resume a good partnership again. But for now, your points are well taken, but as Eric said, they have jurisdiction here just as much as we do.
And I think we need to say something about that we want to have a good partnership.
We done, Heidi?
Yes.
Robert?
Yeah. The ticklish part about that is that he's using this as a freedom of expression issue, not an enforcement issue. He didn't say, now the question that could be asked of them is why, for what reason should you be taking down people's names as to who they're supporting? What's his rationale? That I would like to see him deal with. Because right now what he's saying is, I have a right of freedom of expression. But to what end? I mean, why are you saying that people ought to take people's positions, political positions? Where's this information going? What is it for? What is the logic of application here? That's what you end up directing. What we can speak to is clarifying it for our residents, that do not be in any way beat down about your right to freely express what you think, feel. And if we're out there on that, I worry about the other stuff, because he, as you look at it, I don't know if there's anything legally that we can hold him accountable for. That's going to be political anyway. But if we're standing up, then he's going to, as a political, you know, as an entity in this community, then at least we're on record doing what we can do. The other stuff will fall in line.
Yeah.
You know, his job is to protect the residents of Portage County.
Hear, hear.
Regardless of political affiliation, he gave his word, his oath, that he would do this, not looking at political affiliation. This is what concerns me, because he's violating his oath.
Chris?
I
We're
think
making
it-
a resolution up for this, remember?
Right.
All right.
Well, I just want to say, I think there's one, we haven't addressed the other parts of the statement, one of which is referring to immigrants as locusts, which we know, if you are a student of history, has a deep and dark past,
Right.
referring to other people not in a majority group as animals, insects, rats, cockroaches. We don't, that might be overstating the case, but I do think we are a city that has a lot of immigrants on campus and off campus. Kent Roosevelt was full of immigrants, and that was a great joy of my going to school there. We are all products of immigrants, ultimately.
10-4 on that, baby.
So I don't know if this has to go in the statement, but I think standing up and affirming that we are a welcoming community
Yes.
and that diversity is a strength of ours is not something to be afraid of or to back down from.
Correct.
And I hope that history will record Kent in that light, given the moment we're in.
Further comments? Okay, moving on to mayor's report, we have some good news. Heidi's going to tell, or Amy's going to tell us about her new family member, aren't we?
Oh, I do have a new family member. Her name is Mia.
Mm.
She's an 11-week-old puppy.
Aw, what kind?
It's a complete household. They have a dog again. That's my version.
We're complete.
We got a couple of birthdays. Roger celebrated his birthday on 9/16. Jeff, your birthday's on 9/20. Happy birthday to you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm 9/28.
You're 9/28?
Yeah, I'm 9/6.
Oh, you're not on my new list. Okay. Happy birthday to you, too.
Wow.
There's some good things going on. Roger, Jack, and I think Gwen will be down to the pub tomorrow night at 5:30?
Well, 4:30 to 6:30.
4:30. So if you're not doing anything, stop down and be in the audience. The other thing, we got Oktoberfest Saturday downtown Kent. Go down and get a pretzel and a beer and socialize with your constituents. With that, this meeting's adjourned.
Oh, well, I wanted to catch this before. I just wanted to put people on note, people who are watching anyway. I am having a forum for the Historical South End District Saturday at the Rec Center from 11 a.m. to 12:30 to any of the council people who would like to attend. I'd love to have it.
Robert, bring that under council comments, will you, next time?
Yeah, my bad.
What day is that, Roger?
It's the
What time?
21st. From 11 to 12:30 at the
I'll be pouring beer at the...
Yeah, I know, I just wanted to make everybody aware. I think Roger may be there, but...
I would otherwise, but I'm...